Day 8 at the Winter Olympics in Beijing, dominated by news that the Russian prodigy Kamila Valieva was indeed the athlete who tested positive for a banned substance following the team figure skating event. And the world is still trying to come to grips with that story, even as the Court of Arbitration for Sport is presiding over a matter to determine what will happen to her and whether the ROC was right to lift the provisional ban it imposed on the teenager. The ITA and WADA are challenging the lifting of that ban. That's the headline, but there are much more important stories to talk about as well from a Caribbean perspective. The performance of the Caribbean men and women in their practice runs in the monobob, in the case of Jasmine Trinidad Victoria, the Jamaican, and the two from Trinidad and Tobago, Andre and Axel, Brown and Marcano, and of course Sherwin Stevens and Nimroy Turgot for the Jamaicans in the two-man bob. I've said a lot, but I've not said who's with me. It's Audrey Agree who's opening the innings with me on this day, and Anil Roberts is out there in Zoomland over there in Trinidad and Tobago. Audra, let me go with you first. So you saw yesterday, I told you I did we did the interview, the conversation rather, talking about Jasmine for a disproportionate amount of time. And
yes.
maybe no apologies for that.
Yeah.
Today we can perhaps balance the scale a little better because I wanted to run the rule over the men based on what you saw.
Yes.
But from Jasmine's perspective, assess the run today
yes.
compared to what you saw on the first run.
The runs are the same based on times. But I can't say what is going on. I'm trying to find out though, but I'm getting to understand that there's some background issues going on which I can't really get into. But
yes.
we just have to be still cheering them on regardless, sending positive energy because they're dealing with a lot, especially her. Loss of her sister, she lose the appeal. A lot is playing on her right now. So we just have to be sending positive energy her way.
Yeah, and we must not downplay the fact of, in her mind for several months now, she was prepared to be part of a two-woman bob.
Yes, she was, and she loved the two. I would say she loved the two women more than the monobob. Yeah. Because that's what she used to. She's that's our playground. Yes. So I understand. Yes. So I'm just keeping, I send her like nice little message just to get her cheer her up. Yes. And hopefully goes far away. Yes. Because she's going into race, and I would love for her to put the icing on the cake, yes. being that it will be her last Olympics. So yeah. Based on what
you said yesterday, you broke down for us in detail the technical issue that could be yes. affecting the sled, and we spoke about the
steering.
The steering, right. Yes. I almost said brakes. The steering. Yes. And we said that the runners could also have an issue as well. Yes. With what you saw today, and you say that what you saw today was pretty much similar to what you saw before. Yeah. What can she do to have a better run when the competition actually starts is the question.
It left up to her. It's all up to her now, really. Once the technical issue is fixed, it's all up to her, really. So I'm just hoping that she puts on that cap on race day and perform. Yeah. All right. Yes.
Talk to me about Sherwin and Nimroy now. About any improvement, any perceptible change today versus yesterday?
Yes. These times are going closer to 1 minute. That's where the heat is. 90% of the field is 1 minute. Yes. Like the top 1 and 4 guys will be at 59. Yes. But the heat is at 1 minute, and I love that his time is going down, which means he's dialing it in. Yes. Even though I'm seeing when I watch his race, I'm seeing some, he's having some technical issues. Yes. But I'm hoping that you see this video. Yes. Check, get it cleaned up, and get ready to race, even though they're at a disadvantage because the Caribbean guys, Axel and Shanwin, they didn't get to go to the track in
Yes.
October.
Yes.
So they are just learning it, while the rest of the field have
I've done this thousands of times.
Not thousands. It's a new track.
Yeah.
So they had the opportunity to test it.
Of riding the track before, yeah.
So
I was exaggerating.
so it's their first time now, both of them, and you can see their runs. They have the similar issue. Tapping the wall, the straightaway is giving them problem. They're having a turn on the straightaway before they go into the turn. They're staying longer on the turn, which is which costing them to trying to fix it, killing the speed, killing the time. But regardless, I can see where if he really cleans that up, he'll be amongst the 1 minute crew.
Yeah. This may sound like, well, this is you're too graceful to say that it's an obvious question to ask, but sometimes the obvious questions give the best insights.
Yeah.
The fact of the run, the run today,
Yes.
and with all of the technical imperfections that you just pointed out,
Yeah.
how much benefit will that mean for the boys, having done it and having experienced it, and let's make an adjustment there, do this there, do that. How much of a benefit is this to have that run under your belt going into competition now?
It's a great deal because they're learning the track as they go, but they're not the worst.
Yes.
You understand? Imagine if they had that opportunity to learn the track before, they wouldn't, be having to deal with so much things. So once they clean the start, because the start wasn't as good as yesterday.
Yes.
But it was fair.
Yes.
Comparing to the field.
Yes.
Clean the start. Race day start. Clean the driving. Hopefully they choose the best runners, or the right runners, I should say, for the ice on race day. I believe the guys would do good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Silly question, Audra. I know that in many forms of racing, people practice sometimes not at full pelt. In other words, and you would know this from your days as a sprinter.
Yeah.
You practice, you work on this the first. If you're doing the 100 meters, the first 30, the first 20, and you ease off.
Yeah.
There's always something in the tank for competition day.
Yeah.
Is that the same with bobsledders, or you just go? You pretend as if it's competition and you just go?
No, it cannot be done in bobsled like going full force. They have to they have to think about themselves physically. Even the driver, because remember, the driver doesn't change.
Yes.
It's the same driver over and over again. The driver gonna get fatigued.
Yes.
You understand? So they will have like a race plan like this. They will go hard, especially if they're testing runners.
Yes.
Let's go hard on these runners and see what they do. Tomorrow they will come and say, okay, let's just back it off. Just work on loading or work on the hit. And then maybe on the day before race one, they will go hard and then rest the second heat to go into race. But I must say it is crucial that you practice the start, like how you're gonna hit before, because when you start slow, the track is different from when you start fast.
Yes.
So if you go slow in training all the time and then rock up on race day and go fast, the driver gonna say it's a different track I'm on. You understand? So you have to have a game plan and work on that game plan. Work with the game plan.
There's a general question to ask, but I'm going to ask it after you tell me about the Trinidad boys, the TNT ambassadors, Axel and Andre. What caught your eye from their run?
I'm noticing their start. Their start is 5.3s. I would love if they get it down to 5.2s, 5.1s. That's where the game is. You understand? So if they get the start in, Axel will have to clean up some areas also, because I'm seeing where he has some problem areas after the exit of corner 3. He's tapping into the wall on the straight, having a twist going in before you go into the turn, just like Sean Wayne also. So once they clean up those little issues, I think he should do well also. He should be in the mix. Yeah. Because he's not really in the mix now. I don't really know what's the issue in their camp or anything. Yeah. But based on the times, he really have to clean up the start, clean up the areas in the track that is giving him issues. And he should be a part of them because he's not a terrible driver. He can drive. Yeah. He have experience. Yes. So once he do what he knows best, everything will work.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Annie Roberts now. Just one last thing. I'm sure people will be asking, because I'd be asking if I was at home watching.
Yeah.
after a run like that, and so you have that on record, do you go onto your computer and do you do a simulated run of the event and look back at how you drove and try to simulate the changes that you will make in preparation for the competition now?
So the athletes coach will give them like what they need to do to prevent what is happening.
Yeah.
Right? And then they will have to do their mind runs or visualization, as well. the rest sporting fraternity they will call it, but we call it mind runs.
Yes.
And, it's I think Axel and Shan, Jasmine also, they will have to do. I'm hoping that they have been, because they are new to the track.
Yeah.
So when you train your mind for something, it just automatically become a part of you.
Yes.
So I'm hoping that they have been doing that before the races, and doing it right through to help them.
Yes.
And to cover grounds, as I would say.
Yeah.
So it will help them in the long run.
Anil, Audra says the mind runs is what the drivers, Finita Victoria, and she is the Mona Bob show. She's driving and generating the speed going into the sled. And Axel driving for TNT and Shanwayne driving for Jamaica, that they will also have to be doing the mind runs. So your take on what the boys from Sweet Sweet TNT did in their practice run earlier?
But clearly what Audrey is saying is correct, because they didn't get qualified to test the track in November and December. This is their first run. They don't know what they're doing. You can see that Axel is hitting the side of the track and slowing down on every corner. He needs to run through and make up for the lack of actual runs by visualizing, taking the iPad and going over it, over it hundreds of times, because if you take the corner too early or too late, you're going to hit and touch that side. And once you touch that side at this Olympic level, you're going to decelerate too much and it's all over. We're already starting behind the 8 ball because our start speed is not close to the world's best. As Audra said, we need to get down to 5.1. We're up at 5.3. We went a second slower today. But the track is very fast, it's very difficult. At this speed, it's amazing. Let me tell you something. In 2004, in the semifinals of the swimming, George Bovell was injured. So I had to conserve energy. We didn't have a lot of aerobic capacity. But I asked him to go hard on the backstroke and then to shut it down, come second, qualify, and move forward. When I checked his time on the backstroke, it was terribly slow. And I got angry and I told him, if you want me to go home, I will jump on a plane, I go home. I don't have to be in Athens. I don't need a trip. I don't need to see the Parthenon or the Acropolis. I will go. And he swore to me that he did correct. I looked at the video that I took of his backstroke, and I looked at it about 35 times. And on the 36th time, I saw that his hand normally enters like this, straight perpendicular into the water, and he was entering like that, just about a quarter inch. And that slowed him down 1.4 seconds. We corrected it. His backstroke split dropped down to 29, and he got the bronze medal. Now that's at slow speed. At the speed these guys are going, if you hit the side, it's all over.
Yeah, it's all over. Yeah, as if on cue, Anil, thank you for that, Audra.
Yes.
That's the segment that we have, and we certainly hope that when competition comes, all of it can come together for the best possible performance.
I'm praying too, yes.
Yeah, yes, indeed. All right, this is Winter Prime, the evening edition. Back with more as we talk about Little Miss Valieva and what has befallen her. And note how I said that. What has befallen her, not what she has got herself into. It's the story that has rocked the Winter Olympics, and not in the way organizers would have wanted the event to be rocking, but the 15-year-old prodigy, Kamila Valieva, confirmed by the International Testing Agency, confirmed by the International Olympic Committee, and confirmed by the Russian authorities as the athlete from the Russian figure skating team who tested positive for a banned substance that caused a delay to the medal ceremony over what the IOC described as a legal issue. But as we've drilled down into the issue, it became apparent what had caused the legal brouhaha. And now we are wondering where the chips may fall and what will happen to young Valieva, what will happen to the athletes competing under the banner of the Russian Olympic Committee at these Winter Games. So here I am, sitting alongside me is Christopher Taylor, and out there in Trinidad and Tobago is Anil Roberts. So Chris, welcome to the show. I start with it this way. We have the confirmation that everything was pointing to on Thursday, and it's highly unfortunate that the young woman who was poised on Monday to deliver something big, delivered something unprecedented on Tuesday, nervous on Wednesday because of the medal ceremony not happening. Thursday, everybody was looking at her. Today, it's confirmed that she is the one who has tested positive. What a whirlwind 5 days. What a tumultuous period for a girl, a little girl, Chris.
Very unfortunate. And as I said, the dark cloud is now even bigger. 15 years of age, underage. And it's just, I mean, words can't explain. You think to yourself, a country like Russia, who many think shouldn't even be at the Olympics, shouldn't have been at the Olympics last year for the Summer Olympics, here again, for a doping scandal which took over the entire 2014 Games. And here again, you don't only have athletes that are under the microscope, but a junior, a 15-year-old. Now, if it's anybody, in my opinion, who should have been sanctioned, it's the entire adult fraternity of the Russian Olympic Committee or whatever, whoever is responsible for this, for a youngster to be on drugs, whatever the reason, whether it's angina or anything else, is totally ridiculous and poor. I mean, yes, you just think about the psychological health that this young lady will need. Yes, very confident. As Anil and yourself said yesterday, her skills didn't need drugs. They don't need drugs. I mean, her skill is far superior to even to persons who have been around much longer than her, much older than her, and so on. So it was very unnecessary. And, you know, as you said, you just hope that psychologically she'll be able to recover from this. I mean, she seems very positive when you see her. She trains in the same manner. She seems very positive. But we don't know what the outcome will be.
Yeah. Anil Roberts, of course, you're a man of a specific and particular kind of wisdom. It's broad, but it's specific and particular when it needs to be. You said something yesterday that I've had cause to think about deeply. And towards the tail end of our conversation on Thursday, you said, look, you want the book to be thrown at those who are responsible for this child, because this child really could not have been in a position where she by herself took something. It must have been something that was given to her. And I say that, Anil, to expand that point and to ask people to realize we're dealing here with a likely case of child abuse. I'm suggesting to you, Anil Roberts, Senator, that this young girl is a victim of abuse more than anything else, and we ought not to look at her in the same way we would an adult who has been guilty of an infraction, because she, in this case, has been abused.
Absolutely spot on, George David. Let me tell you something. This child is 15. For her to be that high-level skill at a technical sport, she would have started skating from the time she was 3 months old. She would have been in the sport. She knows nothing about cheating. She doesn't know about taking drugs and trying to get an advantage. She just loves her sport. She's a child, and it means that someone who's in charge of her, some nefarious coach, manager, or cheater, gave her this substance that found itself into her so that she tested positive 6 weeks ago. My big daughter used to play tennis, George, and I tell you, I'm a coach and I used to run her through her cross training and drills and so on. And she went to play her first tournament at tennis at 8 years old. And I realized while she was playing, she started to cry. And I said, but this little girl never cries. She falls down. I would think that she would cry. She's very strong-minded. And I went down by the nets and I said, well, what's wrong? And at this young age in tennis in Trinidad and Tobago, they judge their own games. There's no umpire, there's no referee, there's no line judge. And she said, Daddy, the other girl is cheating. And I realized that in all the things that I had taught her, I had forgotten to teach her that some people cheat. So all I had to say is, oh, yes, she is, just beat her. And she beat her for love. But that shows that children like this, George, they don't know about cheating. Somebody who is coaching her, some miscreant who doesn't even understand, does not deserve to coach such a generational brilliant. This is the Michael Jordan. This is the Usain Bolt. This is the Michael Phelps of figure skating. She does not need to cheat.
Chris, you know, here's the thing. Yeah, as we pick up this narrative of Valieva being a victim, what is true is that people who don't believe the Russians should be here, as you said, will say, aha, this is reason enough for them not to have been here, without missing the very fact of the case that a child is at the center of all this. And you said yesterday, well, and I can't blame it, based on what you saw, that she seemed to be carrying the pressure well. And I was wondering to myself, she must be made of extraordinary stuff. We know she is, right. But she must be made of even more extraordinary stuff than I thought about. Today it was revealed that at the same practice session that you saw a piece of to make your judgment, unusually they say, she fell 3 times. This was when everybody was there, more media than usual are there looking at her, and you know they were scrutinizing every tick, everything. She fell 3 times in the routine, and when she was going out, and of course, us in the press, we were like a pack of dogs, you know. Of course. We gathered around and they were flinging questions at her as she walked through the mix zone, asking if she's a cheater, if she did it by herself, or if someone gave her the drugs. Chris, you're a father. We're all fathers on this set. This is a tragedy, and I'm harping on this, Chris, and I admit I'm harping on it because I want sporting fans to understand that we are likely not seeing a cheater here. We're seeing a victim.
Yes, and we must wonder, has WADA, has the IOC, have they missed a point here? In other words, had they sanctioned Russia properly, would something like this have happened? In other words, if they were not there and sanctioned, would that have rang home to them that, look, we need to change our culture, we need to change our ways? What happened in 2014 was not any minuscule situation. It was something major. Yeah. And now they have hit below the belt further. They have introduced it to a 15-year-old, a phenomenon, a young phenomenon who doesn't have the mind or the capacity yet to handle something like this. As you said, fell 3 times. Yes, her face looks happy and so on, but you don't know what's going on inside, the terror that she may be feeling. And you know, this kind of situation, the fact of the matter is, she's going to be the one who is bombarded with all the questions and have to answer them, not the persons who made this mistake. And so you wonder if from the governing body, the side, from that angle, if they did not do justice in sanctioning Russia properly so that they would feel it. In other words, yes, okay, your flag doesn't go up, you don't get to wear the crest of the flag of Russia, but you're still participating, you're still winning gold medals. Why not sit home and have to watch that on TV and not be a part of it? Yeah.
And I know my producer is hurrying me along on it, but this is the biggest story of the game so far. And I'm just indulging in one more talking point on this. The powers that be, including the International Testing Agency, are trying to say, well, look, because she's a minor, we try to keep her name out of the public domain. But you know how things go with the geopolitics involving Russia and the rest of Europe. And the British journalists got wind of it, who the name was. was, and they ran with it, and then other people picked it up. Are you, like the ITA, Anil, looking to blame the media for not holding the name back and not revealing who it was? Or are you agreeing with the freedom of the press to reveal the information that they know for the benefit of me and you, people like us who consume the information, who are watching these Olympics?
Freedom of the press is a fundamental right, so you can't blame the press. We have to get the story, we need to hear it, but we have to understand the story, and the press must be responsible and know that this is a little child, a brilliant child, who doesn't even know about cheating, would not have even known about what heart medicine would do and what benefits it would get. Remember, in East Germany, athletes were given all sorts of steroids in a secret program, and only when the wall came down, some female athletes ended up suing the German government and winning in court because they did not even know what they were being given. This is a tragedy, and the child has been abused.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing now. We're going to move on from this because we have some other news to report. This story has not run its course just yet because, as I said, the Court of Arbitration for Sport is now arbitrating over the decision by the Russians to lift the provisional ban that they had placed on young Valieva. Do we take the break and come back and pick up with the performances of the day? All right, let's continue and go to the next performance. So we saw shuttling on this day, winning Chris Taylor by a blade's length. We saw an event very early. It may have been on the second day of competition that there was half a blade's length in the mixed.
And the Italian tried to grab the silver.
There you go. We're going to come to that.
Yeah.
But first, it's amazing how good Germany are in the sliding events. And yet they had never before won gold in the skeleton until this man, Chris Grother, came on and changed the narrative, changed history for Germany. They finally have a skeleton gold medal.
Oh yeah, excellent performance by Christopher as well. As you said, 4 out of 4 in the luge. We said they should probably change the name from the luge to the German. And now making a big statement in the skeleton. Of course, the skeleton head first, going at speeds of over 80 kilometers an hour. Amazing stuff. Or 80 miles an hour. I mean, amazing stuff, whatever the speed is. But yes, to lift the first goal. And I mean, more than one really good story in this race because the bronze medal is from China. First, the Chinese have ever won a medal in the skeleton. So, I mean, even from that standpoint, brilliant. But yeah, excellent run for him, as you can see there. Very clinical, very technical, well tucked in, and definitely a race I wouldn't be attempting, George.
Yeah. Senator Roberts, I turn to you for some perspective on this event. It's the one event in all of competitive sport I would never do. I doff my cap if I had one. I doff it to the people who engage in it. But all the same, Germany has taken a long time, Anil, a long time, given their mastery of these sliding sports, to finally land a gold medal here, and we must congratulate the history-making man who has done it for them.
Well, they called that race the correct name, the skeleton, because you bumped the dead. This thing, that has to be, whoever thought up that thing, going at 80 miles per hour, head first. If you make a mistake, there are no helmet to help you. You're going to break every part of your spine, your neck. You will dead before you hit the ice. But it is tremendous to see. I would not be doing that skeleton. I'm too fat to be on a skeleton anyway. So I'm not worrying that. So congratulations to the Germans. It was remarkable to see.
All right. We take a break here on Winter Prime, the evening edition. Back with more after these.
Watch her at the finish. She is an exceptionally pacey athlete. Behind is Hannah Dismit. She's a bold racer, Hannah Dismit, and she's had to go quite wide to get herself back into contention and has done very well.
And very nearly came a cropper there. A little bit of contact with Ariana Fontana, who herself had a little bit of a hiccup going into that first bend. Some nerves on show in this race.
Susanna Schulting of Netherlands with Ariana Fontana behind. It was Fontana who was behind in the 500. She eased in front of Susanna Schulting. Kristen Santos of the United States of America behind in third place. Schulting, Fontana, Santos, 3 laps to go.
I think Schulting needs eyes in the back of her head. She's glancing to her right and her left. She doesn't know which way the Italian will make her attack.
Schulting leads, but for how much longer? Here comes Santos, here comes Fontana. Schulting, Santos and Fontana have gone down. Schulting, and then at the line! The ice may crack, but she will not. Susanna Schulting.
It's the kind of finish that you will see on a Sunday, the last day, the last stage of the Tour de France, as the cyclists come pedaling around that final corner on the Champs-Élysées. And in that sprint finish, one man pushes and his bicycle wheel hits the line mere inches above that of his rival. That's what Susanne Schulting did in this race, winning it, Chris Taylor. Not at the death, because she had done everything to keep in front and to hold position. Because I'm suggesting to you, were she on the inside, she may not have had the angle to extend and win. Technical brilliance and a daredevil's attitude is what it took to win that gold medal.
No, exciting stuff, and the Dutch have really dominated the speed skating ring so far in this Olympics, but great to see her get past her rival. Ariana Fontana, who you saw crash there, she had on a full blue suit.
Yeah.
Actually won the goal ahead of her in the 500 meters. She had to settle for the silver. Schulting. Great to see her come in, world record in the quarterfinals. And even in her interview after that, she said, look, that doesn't mean I'm going to win this easily. It's going to be a difficult run against Fontana, who fell off the track, as you see there. Schulting, as you said, composure, finesse, focus, and bringing home that gold medal. A 4-time world champion, and finally, the gold medal in the 1,000 meters for her.
Anil, do you like this one? Would you try to emphasize? Could you do what Susanne Schulting has done?
Well, I can't, but I can tell you, our Trinbagonian, that's our kind of flavor, the kind of skill, the action, the excitement, and the bit of football. Because if you look, and if the producer can look at the finish again, Schulting used the ages-old stiff arm with her left arm to push this Korean back. Look at it. It was quite amazing. Now, I'm not sure about the technical rules about obstruction and so on, but you see the extended left arm on the finish, and she pushed her back like, as you would see Zinedine Zidane push off a defender to get a little bit of space. So it was excitement, a crash with Fontana, but what a gold medal. Netherlands, they're having a time.
Absolutely so, absolutely fantastic. All right, so we move right along from the dramatic short track speed skating 1,000 meters final, and we go to the snowboard half pipe, because an American legend in snowboarding said goodbye in this event, giving way to a young Japanese to claim the crown as perhaps the king of the snowboard halfpipe from this moment on to the time he gets long in the tooth and is supplanted by another whippersnapper. Let's look at how that gold medal was decided.
Last because of his excellent performance in the qualifiers, and this is why it's an advantage. He knew exactly what he needed to beat to turn his silver into gold, 92.50. Extra points for this, the truck driver, grabbing both sides of the board, reaching heights of 5.5 metres. As he finished, he knew it would be a high score, but would it be enough? The scores were in, a huge 96 out of 100.
Yeah, Hirano, Ayumu a best score of 96, 4 short of perfect. And it was the performance from the Japanese that was required. I love the hairstyle. I love the hairstyle.
I know you would like that.
Yeah. we all love that
Yes.
hairstyle. But the man
Yes,
is more
sir.
than his hairstyle. He's a champion and deservedly so.
No, finally, double silver medalist coming into this in previous Olympics, finally getting the gold, the first gold medal for Japan, I should say, in this event. Excellent stuff, and certainly the king of the triple cork, as they would say. That was perfect, George. His score was near perfect, and as I said, he dethroned a big champion.
Yeah. So when you say goodbye after 5 Olympic Games, 3 gold medals in this last event, you're chasing a medal, not necessarily gold, because he didn't have the form to go for gold, but chasing a last medal and coming fourth. And he said something in his interview that I found fascinating. He says, look, I finished 4th. I'm not satisfied, because if I came 3rd, I'd have wanted to come 2nd. And if I came 2nd, I'd have wanted to come 1st. The end of the era for Shaun White. And he goes out getting the applause from the crowd, who knows what he brought to the sport. But today, not his day.
One of the greatest of all times, if not the greatest. He has the world record in terms of gold medals at the Olympics and the Winter X. 15 gold medals in Winter X. 3 gold medals in 3 separate Olympics here. So, as you said, he's had such a great career, lovely stuff. As I said, finishing 4th, would have loved to have finished on a high in terms of getting a medal. But just his performance over time, and not only in snowboarding, a top skateboarder as well, as we spoke about the likes of Tony Hawk from before. So this American, one of the greatest they've ever seen, and they will miss him.
Yeah, yes indeed. And then Roberts, we are out of time, my friend. We will be back with you on tomorrow is what? Tomorrow is Saturday. On Saturday's show. We have a marathon tomorrow, Anil, so we're keeping you fresh for the marathon coverage that we have tomorrow, starting at 8 o'clock in the Eastern Caribbean. So get your drinks, get your food, get your exercise and your stretches in, Anil, because we're going on a long shift on Saturday.